Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Jbara with MQA. We are grateful to be part of the international independent music scene. We're also very thankful for the participation of our partners on this panel, who represent Xiami Music, Lenbrook, and AKQA. Because each of our panelists is an expert, I will try to speak very little and get them to speak very much. To begin, I've asked each of them to introduce themselves and then go right into the first topic. I will begin with Wangji from Xiami. Please briefly introduce yourself, your role within the company, and a description of Xiami. After that, could you speak about the importance of independent music and independent artists to Xiami's business?
好的，大家好，我先做一个自我介绍，我是阿里音乐和虾米音乐的用户产品和用户运营的负责人。然后呢，我现在的主要工作职责是阿里音乐我们的用户产品的创新的研究和整体产品的研发落地，还有一个就是我们日常的用户的运营工作的一个负责人，对。然后我的日常工作包括就是我们自己现在对市面上所有前沿产品的研究，我们的产品创新的一个研发的整个的管理过程，还有就是我们现存虾米音乐的所有 C 端用户、B 端用户的整体服务流程的这个优化另外一个就是我们虾米音乐的一个用户增长，就是我们用户的新增用户的留存和服务体验这都是我目前一个工作的主要范围。我把我们虾米音乐的整个的一个发展历史给大家做一个简单的回顾。虾米音乐呢，它最早是在这个网站音乐平台时期就创建了，在2006年的时候，虾米网是诞生了。那么它是由当时的一群音乐的这个资深爱好者大家一起聚集起来创建了这个网站。当时最早的这个创建人包括就是王浩等其他一些这个主要的这个发起人。然后呢，随着这个时间的这个推移，到了2014年，由阿里巴巴集团收购了虾米音乐这个网站。然后在后续的发展历程当中，虾米音乐基本上都是在我们阿里巴巴的集团生态当中，协同我们大文娱的一些这个文化发展战略，然后去发展我们的这个在线音乐平台。我们在2018年我们从2015年到2018年持续在做这个独立音乐人的这个扶持计划同时我们也一直在持续在我们 C 端用户的一个服务体验的打磨。到现在我们已经发展成为一个专业的内容发现音乐平台网站这是我们的整个的一个发展经历到今天为止虾米音乐也是国内比较有专业音乐调性有专业音乐品味的一个音乐爱好者的聚集地。虾米音乐呢，作为现在我们自己就作为国内的这个专业的音乐内容发现平台我们现在最大的特色呢，包括以下几个方面其中一个是我们首先我们提供了独立新锐的专业内容、专业音乐内容，我们一直深耕在在线音乐的产品和服务这个方向那么虾米音乐现在有接近3000万的这个专业曲库我们在这个提供了在线的一个音乐界的音乐百科图书的这种内容分类方式，这是一个非常专业的这个曲库分类目前在国内我们是做的比较领先的。第二个就是我们虾米有精准的推荐算法的一个服务我们也这样讲说它叫虾米猜，就非常了解用户的这个音乐品味。我们包括有虾米电台每日30首 AI 日推等等一系列的这个非常深受用户喜爱的推荐产品另外还有一个就是虾米呢有这个非常优质的这个音乐版权的这个服务。那么我们从过去到现在我们基本上汇集了各类音乐曲风流派就吸引了不同音乐品味调性的用户群体。在音乐版权服务这块呢，我们和国内国外的一些大型的这个版权机构版权方还有独立音乐人的这个群体都进行了深入的合作。那么在国外，特别是在这个我们和 Merlin 其他一些集团都有比较深入的合作然后在虾米的这个原创独立音乐人的合作上，从过去到现在我们也累积了像陈碧左安西西 瑞豆啊、声音玩具等等国内的音乐界、独立音乐界的一些这个比较知名的音乐人。到这个2020年，我们今年的话，我们也在陆续的联合阿里巴巴集团文化娱乐相关板块一起在深耕这个版权服务方的一个深度合作。这块呢，就敬请大家期待啊！我们今年会网站上有新的一些曝光。谢谢 ，Thank you.
Now to Sam. You and your company are observers of innovation in consumer markets. Please introduce yourself and your company. Perhaps you can talk a little about a notable innovation or two that have caught your attention.
My name is Sam. I am the Managing Director for Greater China and Japan for AKQA, which is an experience design and innovation company. I'm lucky enough to work with two very talented teams in both markets, but they are quite different because the environment in China is obviously wildly different to Japan or even the rest of the world. In Japan, we work with clients like Nike, Netflix, and Nixie, which has an e-gaming business. And in China, we work with brands like Nike as well, but then also other clients like a lot of the brands within the L'Oreal family. There's been some really interesting examples of innovative thought coming out of the kind of current context that we find ourselves in so many ways, it's been really unprecedented, and I think it's forcing people to be quite creative and quite innovative, where they perhaps historically wouldn't have had quite the ambition or courage to take such action. It's an interesting example, but something I was quite impressed by is a restaurant in Singapore called Tippling Club. It's a beautiful restaurant, but they also have one of the best bars in Asia attached to the restaurant. And obviously they couldn't open in the way they normally would during the pandemic period. So what they've been doing is doing masterclasses with people, particularly within Singapore, but theoretically all over the world, and holding those online. So having cocktail making classes, or I saw the other day they had a truffle appreciation class. And what they're actually doing is having people register and then putting together a packaged kit that they can actually send them within Singapore, so people can sit at home and appreciate the truffles and learn about them, or learn how to make cocktails in the comfort of their own home with these award-winning bartenders and chefs and things like that, which I think is a really interesting way of keeping the talent, really having the opportunity to showcase why they're so great at what they do, but continue to have that little bit of an experience going even in these current times.
We manufacture and distribute high-resolution audio brands that you might have heard of. NAD Electronics is our amplification brand. Blue Sound is our wireless multi-room brand, and PSV Speakers makes loudspeakers. And I oversee these three brands across 84 countries where our products are sold, and my responsibility there is to try to build awareness and engagement with our audiences, as well as influence the purchasing decisions of consumers in those markets. And they're typically consumers who love music and want to experience that music in the most lifelike way possible. Well, obviously, China is a modern and high-tech country. And so you would think that a country like that would really be a place where we would focus a lot of our efforts online. But the truth is that for Lenbrook and our brands, we still rely heavily on our physical retailers to qualify consumers and link them to our brand story. And the reason for that is because we think that high resolution audio specifically really requires that someone has a demonstration given to them of our products. For example, it can be really difficult to explain how much better high resolution audio sounds. And consumers really just need to experience for themselves. It's a little bit like trying to explain to someone how one restaurant makes better tasting dumplings. People just won't believe you until they go and taste the dumplings for themselves and decide whether or not they think that's true. So it's really critical in our business and for our products to continue to support physical retail. For us, online retail represents a different way to reach consumers. So as I mentioned, physical retail is still very important for us, but obviously online retail is very important, just because you have a lot of consumers that do a lot of their research online when they look for products. And in the end, there's quite a few consumers who are actually also quite comfortable purchasing products online. So for us, it's a way to build brand awareness and trust with our brand without geographic limits. In the end, China is a very large country, and not everyone is going to have a high-end audio retailer close to where they live. And so with very modest budgets, we can ensure that all Chinese have the opportunity to know our brands and to understand the unique value that we offer in the market for high-res audio products. And at the end of the day, you know, some people just prefer to try products in their own home, and online gives us the opportunity to do that. It allows us to reach the consumer in a place where they're comfortable online, give them the opportunity to purchase a product, take it home, test it within their own home environment, you know, with their own hi-fi equipment, with their own room treatment, with the music that they like to listen to. And then if they decide in the end that they don't like that product, they have the opportunity to then return it. And so online definitely has its advantages, and they're different advantages, I would say, than what physical retail would have. But at the end of the day, it's all about reaching consumers, and obviously online is a really great channel to help us do that. I think retailers must innovate, and like in any other industry, it's all about keeping up with changes in consumer trends and preferences. And around the world, we are seeing that retailers are starting to use different ways, you know, creating some hybrid models, for example, where they can use both physical and virtual environments to help consumers make a purchase decision. For us, at least in China, the Bluesound brand has partnered with the retailer Soundtown, and together we've opened up a Bluesound experience center in Shanghai. So what that is basically a space where that's branded Bluesound inside a retail shop. And it's proven to be an amazing investment for us to be able to showcase and demonstrate the Bluesound technology, and also the very nuanced performance of high-res music listening solutions like the Bluesound brand. In some of our other Asian markets, Singapore, for example, we've just opened up a Bluesound and NAD showcase where consumers can come in and listen and learn, and then they can buy online for immediate delivery. So we're hoping that these new hybrid models are things that we're going to be able to roll out in the future in more Asian markets.
Innovation can be a result of a breakthrough idea, and it can also result from insights regarding the marketplace. It would be great to hear from each of you how your decisions are influenced by consumer input and the feedback that you receive.
虾米音乐呢，现在我们主要是通过我们的手机 APP 端和用户进行一些交互，然后呢，我们在手机 APP 端的这个产品和服务呢，会收到用户呢在线给我们递交的一些反馈、一些意见和建议。同时呢，我们还会有多种渠道去收集用户的这个声音，包括我们自己的这个就是一些微博呀、微信公众号啊等等的一些服务载体。然后我们会从还有包括就是手机终端应用市场，那么也会得到一些用户的反馈和评价。我们会把这些分门别类来自不同渠道的用户的声音呢，做一些整体的分析还有一些特色的研究。在一些特定情况下，我们还会邀请一些特色用户或者资深用户到虾米来跟我们一起进行一些共创和一些深度话题的交流。那么在这个过程当中，首先用户的服务和感受是我们最在意的，然后其次呢是用户在给我们提供的产品创新的建议上面，我们也会去深挖其中背后的一些这个产品的一些创新的这个思路。那么比较有特色的就是为了满足用户在音乐互动方面的需求，虾米呢打造了一个叫趴间的这么一个互动音乐的场景。那这个趴间呢是一个多人实时在线互动的一个产品形态。在这个趴间当中我们有很多用户会每天深夜就是10点到12点等等这个时间段，那么他们会聚集在趴间当中去大家交流自己对音乐的一个喜爱，同时呢我们一起去共同去收听 我们自己的一些这个就是推荐的音乐，所以音乐趴间就是一个典型的根据用户诉求用户的建议给我们反馈，我们去制作的一个产品。那么同时还有很多，比如说就是我们这一次和MQA 的这个音质的合作，也是来源于一些比如说高端的资深用户或者普通用户对音质的这个诉求，那么我们也是双方联手做了一个探索，那这一块也收到了不错的一个用户反应
We have a very knowledgeable distributor and dealer network, many of whom we've worked with for decades. And so we get a lot of feedback from them on industry trends as well as consumer preferences. And we take all kinds of other information into account as well when we're deciding on which features to include in a product. We keep our eye out, for example, on consumer forums for feedback there. We also have a really robust support function in our organization. And so, we get a lot of feedback from that channel as well. And so we basically take all of these various ways of collecting data, and we utilize various, prioritization algorithms that we've developed through experience doing this for so many years to really determine exactly which features and benefits really make it into the products and how we prioritize those.
Yeah, fundamentally, I think you need to understand why a customer engages with you. So consider really carefully the difference between correlation and causation. For example, I'm female. I live in Shanghai with my boyfriend. My birthday's in July. I run and I enjoy Pilates. None of these things explain why I listen to Celeste and I have a subscription to Spotify, QQ Music and Apple Music, and I shop with Net-a-Porter. So the important distinction here is to understand why I do all those things and think about collecting information in that context rather than just looking for demographic information and then finding overlaps. Because what we'll fail to do then is truly understand why people are doing what they do. And in doing so, we won't be able to spot key opportunities to be able to engage them in more enduring ways or in order to be able to engage them better in the long term.
We've all adjusted to a different way of living and working over the last few months. Sam, you recently wrote about the potential impact that the current climate might have on innovation. Can you speak about that?
The greater the uncertainty, the greater the likelihood I've noticed that businesses and brands fall to looking for inspiration in category. So we often get clients who want to see examples of work that we've done for other auto companies or other financial services companies or other luxury brands. And you also see that in job descriptions. Often you get people who are looking to hire someone who has a certain amount of experience in pharmaceuticals or whatever it might be. The challenge then is that all you get is thinking that exists within the family. So you start to have this kind of gene pool of ideas and perspectives that become incredibly limited and don't make that leap between categories. So the greatest risk, I think, is for someone that, in that case, that someone with more ambition or a perspective that you don't have is going to capitalize on an opportunity that you can't see or that you're unwilling to capitalize on.
In 2019, Xiami made a significant increase in sound quality using MQA's audio technology. How have fans and artists reacted to this change? What are some other features that you feel make Xiami a unique service?
OK， 我们现在收到了一些Xiami音乐人的反馈，然后呢，前期的话，音乐人是希望自己的音乐能够支持 MQA。后续呢，我们也发现，就是有一些独立音乐人，他们通过这个社交媒体来表示感谢感谢Xiami把自己的音乐加到了 MQA 高品质的音乐专区所有的这些反应呢，代表了就是业内的人士觉得这是Xiami音乐对于他们音乐的一种认可高品质音乐的提供，对他们的这个产品的作品的呈现也是非常有帮助的。 我们自从就是去年啊，就是2019年和 MQA 深度合作啊，上架了这个 MQA 的音质服务以后，我们收到了大量的来自不同渠道、不同这个就是我们说团体的这个音乐爱好者的一个反馈。那么现在呢，把主要的几类给大家做一个介绍。其中呢，就是我们从微博、应用商店、微信公众号等多个渠道，我们就得到了一些自媒体作者，还有一些资深音乐人的一个反馈。那总体上来说，对于虾米音乐提供的 MQA 的音质服务大家的反馈是非常积极的，非常正向的。第一个呢，就是我们的一些高端的这种发烧友的玩家，就音乐发烧友的玩家，然后他们呢长久以来都是高品质音乐内容的一个受众。那么最早他们是对于寻找这个高品质音源方面是有一些诉求，或者遇到一些困难。那么因为我们虾米提供了 MQA 高品质的这个音乐服务，他们非常对于这一个服务来说是非常乐于非常开心的。那么还有一部分就是之前也是 MQA 的受众用户，那他们发现虾米音乐上架了这个 MQA 的音乐合作，也是呼声很高也是非常支持。另外呢，就是还有一类我们叫做音乐小白用户就是喜欢音乐，但是可能对于音乐品质或者说音乐的这个就是发烧的这个程度还没有那么深。那这类用户呢，因为我们 MQA 的这个合作上所支持的音乐特别是歌曲有一些他喜欢的一些艺人和音乐人，那么用户会觉得这是一个惊喜。那基本上对于这个效果来说，是带给了用户一个赞可不绝的效果。另外还有呢，很多用户是通过虾米的 MQA 的这个音质，知道了这个 MQA 的技术能力。我觉得这个也是对于我们双方都是有一个正向的宣传和促进作用的。还有一类是我们音乐人的这个群体，就是我们虾米合作的音乐人，还有一些我们正在洽谈当中我们有一些长期合作的这个音乐人，那他们主动反馈给我们，希望把虾米音乐的这个 MQA 的音质也应用在他们的音乐作品当中，所以这个也是我们看到的一个非常认可的一个反馈。好，然后呢，我们从所有这些反馈当中找到了后续优化的一个空间和方向。比如我们会在一些重点的这个头部的音乐艺人当中或者是音乐人当中，去更广的去铺开 MQA 的这个音质服务。另外呢，我们也后续希望和 MQA 一起，我们从国内国外，我们把更多的版权方、更多的合作伙伴引入进来，让更多的用户享受到更广泛的高品质音乐服务。虾米音乐呢，我们一直就是长期致力在扶持原创音乐。最早从2014年，我们就在整个中国国内率先启动了原创音乐人扶持计划，寻光计划。这个寻光计划我们也一直持续在这个推进，那么到现在也基本上启动到第3期的阶段。最早的时候呢，我们是为了挖掘和培养这个乐坛的这个新鲜的血液然后也是从那个内容的源头来为大家、为所有的用户、音乐用户去发掘更好的这个音乐作品的这个源头。那么在2017年的5月虾米音乐正式推出了寻光计划的第2季。当时我们的一个主题是寻找未曝光的少年。在18年的4月的时候，我们又推出了这个寻光少年发片季。基本上我们会就是持续去曝光我们的这些寻光计划所扶持和培养的音乐人。当时在18年的时候，我们曝光的这个寻光音乐人的话有10位。那么我们基本上为曝光的这个音乐人的作品进行了一个沉浸式的音乐体验展后来呢在18年同期，我们还推出了国内首个黑科技音乐节。我们联合了云栖大会、阿里巴巴云栖大会的音乐加黑科技还有机械舞台和 3D mapping 的这些无人机表演，通过这些黑科技的环节和这些艺术表演的这种呈现方式，打造了中国的硅谷音乐节迄今为止直至到目前，我们虾米的寻光计划的音乐播放量已经超过了3亿，超过了26张音乐唱片的发行和26部 MV 的发布。在线下我们举行了超过70场更多的这个线下音乐演出。 在2020年今天我们的今年年度的这个寻光计划的一些后续行动也正在陆续的筹备当中然后还有就是阿里音乐，我们在扶持音乐独立音乐人的这个方向我们特有的一些这个特点，或者是我们的一些优势，是在于阿里音乐作为阿里巴巴的生态成员，我们会依托阿里巴巴的这个集团生态的一些合作，还有就是我们的商业基因，我们共同去推动音乐产业的商业和行业发展。然后在今年3月，我们宣布阿里巴巴集团宣布和泰禾音乐集团达成数字音乐内容合作的新的模式在这一块的话，我们现在所处的创新事业群旗下的虾米音乐天猫精灵，还有我们的短音乐创新产品唱鸭等等的一些产品和平台，我们都会获得泰禾音乐旗下艺人的歌曲授权和内容解决方案。在版权方面虾米音乐和Believe 达成了700万歌曲的版权授权合作其他的呢就会在陆续的我们的这个市场宣发当中会去做一些介绍希望大家也可以多多关注。
June, would you share with us how Lenbrook is driving experiences forward and some examples of differentiation across your products?
Well, we believe that over time, consumers will always strive for something better. So at the start, probably everyone just uses the earbuds that are included with your cell phones. And eventually people will buy replacements for those earbuds, right? Either you've lost an earbud and so you need to replace it, or it broke and you need to replace it. And what you discover when you replace that earbud is that, hey, that didn't sound, my new earbuds don't really sound the same as my old earbuds did. And so you start to realize that there can be differences in sound quality. And these differences can be due to everything from the quality of the components that are used to build the headphones, or even decisions that an acoustics designer might make in creating a specific sound. And because we've been doing this for so long, in fact, actually, we've been doing it since the 1970s. And so we have some very established methods for creating a great audio experience for consumers. That's largely been through hardware, though, which is obviously an important piece of our business. But what we're starting to see now is that we're actually moving more and more into the software world. And that's become a much more important part of our products and, as a result, our world and our industry. And so, our company was really the first original developer of a commercially viable and market-ready multi-room solution that could fully handle 24/192 high-definition music. And we call that platform the BlueOS platform. And it was, I think, it was groundbreaking from the standpoint that I believe we were the first hi-fi company to really transition our business to one that wasn't just about hardware, but that was hardware and software together, and really trying to put those things, to make those things work together and create that premium music experience through our NAD and our Blue Sound brands.
Sam, it would be great to have you wrap up this conversation with thoughts on where you and your company see consumer entertainment experiences going next. What are some examples or maybe drivers of innovation that we should expect to see?
One of the things that I've really learned from China is the power of aggregation. So personally, I'm going to be really interested to see what happens when all the things that you just mentioned get pulled together. So earlier I was speaking about the power of what would happen if we combined wearables with connected spaces, and we could use that to, for example, create dynamic playlists or dynamic physical experiences. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when everything is unified. And some of the things that you just mentioned, for example, live streaming with artificial intelligence, or live streaming when combined with metadata to create dynamically generated environments and those sorts of things, and those to be able to be shoppable or whatever it might be, the unification of all those things. So I think it's less about any one trend or any one technology in isolation, and more about bringing these things together and combining them in ways that are unique to individual brands.
On behalf of MQA, I want to thank our brilliant and generous panelists, as well as the organizers of the event who made this possible. The outlook for music and artists in China is strong, and the climate for innovation and creativity is inspiring us all to do our best work. We wish all of you who have watched and participated the best of health and good luck for a great year. See you next time. Thank you.
大家好，我是国乐行者方锦荣，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季的推荐官。
Hello， 我是辛巴，来自西安，我是2020年上海国际独立音乐季的推荐官。
Hello， 大家好，我是科草胡梦舟，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
I'm 陈梦月，我来自江苏苏州，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
我是朱静熙，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
This is Ruth Oliver. I'm going to be performing my new single On My Way on Showcase Program.
我是 Acrylic，
我是方颂鸣，
金丝木兰，
马子木，
我是吕硕，
我是陈悠如，
鱼乐团的周瑜，
小颖，
大宽。
邓林峰，艾丽亚，
雷杰，
贾巴三
，Weirdly Navalny，
Ardes Codeline，
Andreas Bernitz。
我来自中国香港，
我来自新加坡，
中国湖南
，Korea。
We're from Ireland,
Italy,
from the US,
Denmark,
四川大凉山
，Steve Rocks,
ERL,
Face Pivot，
把门抵住，
高博文，
狐狸古尔高子，
杨旭凯，
太空船乐队
，Project A。祝首届上海国际独立音乐季圆满成功！
热烈祝贺上海国际独立音乐季的顺利开幕！
衷心祝愿上海国际独立音乐季系列活动圆满成功。
This will be wonderful international cultural cooperation.
Let's keep on working together. Wish you a very successful Shanghai International Indie Music Season.
We wish that your event will become a great platform for musicians from all over the world to discuss how to develop their music and how to get more focus on the copyright of music.
Have a great Shanghai International Indie Music Season.
Music and culture can also help build bridges across the nations.
Congratulate you on the great initiative.
衷心祝愿本次活動取得圓滿成功，加油！
跟一起상해 국제 독립음악제의 개최를 진심으로 축하하며 어머니 진돌리바.
Let's take this time to encourage greater cultural cooperation and also between our flourishing music scenes.
I look forward to hearing the music from all over the world.
促进全球独立音乐交融合作，
是音乐把我们大家连接在这里。
Listen to the world's music.
Shanghai International
Independent Music Season.
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
上海
国际独立音乐季。
上海国际独立音乐季。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
上海国际独立音乐季。我在上海国际独立音乐季。
欢迎与我一起来支持独立音乐，支持原创音乐，尊重独立音乐，
包容艺术的多样性，从我做起，保护音乐版权。
在未来的3个月里，我们将在这里看见全球独立音乐行业新观点，
看见当下全球新锐的独立音乐人。
欢迎大家与我一起推动独立音乐的发展壮大，看见独立音乐的更多可能。Hello， 大家好，我是科草胡梦舟，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
I'm 陈梦月，我来自江苏苏州，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
我是朱静熙，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季推荐官。
我是辛巴，我是2020年上海国际独立音乐季的推荐官。
我是国乐行者方锦荣，我是2020上海国际独立音乐季的推荐官。
我是方颂鸣，
金丝木兰，
马子木，
Acrylic，
周瑜
，Weirdly Navalny，
5XM2，
Ardes
Ruth Oliver，
Codeline，
Andreas Bernitz。
我来自中国香港，
新加坡，
湖南 Ireland，
Italy， Korea，
US，
Denmark，
四川
，Steve Rocks，
ERL，
Face Pivot，
把门抵住，狐狸古尔高子。
Listen to the world's music.
Shanghai International
Independent Music Season.
欢迎与我一起支持独立音乐。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
上海
国际独立音乐季。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
我在上海国际独立音乐季。
欢迎与我一起来支持独立音乐，支持原创音乐，尊重独立音乐。
从我做起，保护音乐版权。
我们将在这里看见全球独立音乐行业新观点。